the Anime America Anime Awards, a time-honored tradition where I would arrange numerous categories in order to reward numerous deserving titles. It took a lot of time, like a lot of time, but it was worth highlighting new shows that were often pushed away from the mainstream limelight. Each year was getting more difficult to sort out, but as long as I was rewarding the best and worst titles, it was all worthwhile. Thank God I'm not doing that again. Yeah, nah, after the last 2 years, I honestly wondered if I could ever do another award show with the same setup, and 2023 gave me a resounding no. There was no way I could highlight shows that were just mediocre at best, boring at worst. Seriously, a good chunk of my notes when describing the shows that I just watched were just meh. Meh. This one? Meh. That one? Meh. Meh, 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 meh. So, for the first time ever, I will be doing the top 10 best and worst anime of the year. And I even felt reassured with this decision when even I couldn't find a solid 10 for these categories. But feel free to let me know in the comments down below what you think of these changes. Also, I just need to point out that as per usual, I will only be highlighting original anime titles that debuted in the 2023 lineup. So if you're here to watch me praise Jujutsu Kaisen for the millionth time in every spot possible, go to Crunchyroll. Like, what do you want from me? For this video, we're gonna go back and forth per category, starting with the worst picks and back to the best. And with all of that said, let's jump right in. Here is Anime America's top 10 best and worst anime of 2023. Oh boy, legalities, insurance, and paperwork. My favorite! On the outside, Bullbuster is a relatively basic show about a company using mechas to defeat strange and paranormal monsters. But that's just a minor part of the story. The major part of the story is using the mechas to fight monsters and, save people's lives. But they have to worry about finances, paperwork, and insurance costs. Basically, this anime reminds me of that one boss from The Incredibles. He is not happy, Bob. Not happy. As a whole, Bullbuster is just a basic story that tries to stand out by adding real-world issues we'd probably have to take into consideration if this happened in our own reality. But I don't know. Personally, seeing a show that has to worry about a lot of legal issues first, then saving lives, kinda irks me in some ways. I mean, I have to worry about this kind of crap at my other job outside of YouTube. So I guess Bullbuster just annoyed me on a personal level. To each their own, but this is a pass for me. I honestly didn't know what to expect when everyone kept telling me this anime was Harry Potter if he didn't have magic. Like, okay, that sounds funny, I guess. But after watching the first episode, okay, yeah, this is actually pretty funny. Mashle, Magic and Muscle, is a simple comedy starring a young man named Mash. Like my favorite TV show? I'm gonna name my son Mash. He was born into a magical world without any magic, but he's able to make do with his overwhelming strength. Obviously, the word overwhelming is an understatement. It's pretty straightforward with this one gimmick, but Mash is able to carry the show with every joke and setup. It's a cute and charming show full of laughs and funny characters, so I definitely recommend this one. Okay, so I may have been a teeny bit harsh on Bullbuster and could honestly replace it with any other mediocre show like, I don't know, Ice Blade Sorcerer or whatever it's called. But all I can say about the other 9 shows, there was no debate. These 9 were definitely making it on the worst list. Especially this one. Dekoboko Majo starts off simple enough with a witch finding a baby left in the woods and deciding to raise the baby. 16 years roll by and she ends up raising one of the most annoying characters of 2023. Viola is an obnoxious woman whining when she doesn't get what she wants, performs all sorts of dangerous magic just because she can, and is overly protective of her mother. Like, creepily Oedipus complex overprotective like that. Just saying. I struggled to finish the first episode of the show just because of her, but I digress. The gimmick of the show is just watching people assume Viola is the mother instead of Alyssa because of their appearances. as you would, and hilarity ensues. If any. It's gimmicky, annoying, and pointless, so I'm passing. So here we are, yet again, with the same typical formula of violent or dangerously skilled individuals suddenly getting kids. As you would. I would roll my eyes with this anime considering how repetitive this category has become. I wonder why that's there. But then again, there's just something unique about buddy daddies. Sure, the chemistry between the positive and cynical duo has been done before. Sure, it's hilarious seeing professional assassins now raising a random kid they found. Sure, we get the typical story featuring these two wondering if they can really care for a child considering what their jobs are. But once you find out how they got the kid and who her father was, yeah, now the show gets very interesting. It's a charming show taking a typical formula and doing something new with it. So I'd say Buddy Daddies is a cute show worth checking out. Inukai's dog, everybody. You know, I used to be open to ecchi comedies. A show about a student being reborn as a classmate's dog just to get some fan service, if you know what I'm saying. That really shouldn't turn heads if it's being honest with what it is and all that stuff. It's meant to be pervy, with the fan service and whatnot, seeing the perspective from a dog's point of view. But then...
What the hell was that?
There's a line! And this show is playing hopscotch on it. Inukai's dog. It gives me the ick. If there was one anime that was advertised throughout the beginning of 2023 as one of the biggest names to look out for, it was Hell's Paradise. A ninja named Gabimaru is set up for execution, but with every attempt at his life, he can't seem to die. He's discovered by a mysterious woman offering him a pardon for his crimes if he takes on a deadly quest to find the elixir of life. The thing is though, this journey has been rumored to have a 0% success rate due to the extreme dangers, but this doesn't deter Gabimaru. If he can find a way to free himself and live a simple life with his wife, he'll do it. It's a fairly simple plot with a simple goal in mind, but its violent and action-filled presentation is what sealed the deal for the series. The animation is top-notch, the characters are fascinating, and it's entertaining from beginning to end, which is more than I can say for a good chunk of 2023 shows. Just saying. And here's another reason why I never ever take the rating scores of my anime list seriously. Like, how did this get an 8 out of 10? How? Dangers in My Heart, a show about a deeply psychotic student fantasizing about killing the most popular girl in school because he's got a deep-rooted lust for death and murder. But he can't seem to do it because she always does something to confuse him and make him all blushy. This is the same website that punishes shows like Interspecies Reviewers and Rent a Girlfriend, but rewards a show giving a murder enthusiast creep his own waifu? Okay then. All of that aside, I just find this show very annoying. We're all different and we deserve love in whatever format we desire within reason, but I just don't get this one. Kyotaro is a deeply anxious introvert that desperately needs therapy, but we're gonna take those characteristics and put him in a funny tee-hee rom-com. Seriously, I don't get it. 8 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen, why? Oh look, another quirky video game world anime with colorful characters being OP and stuff. What an original idea. Okay, I can see the commentary, but still, it's nothing I haven't seen before. Okay, this is sad, and I like it. Goodnight World may seem like a show centering around a hikikomori abandoning reality to play his games again, but once we see him form an online family with his actual family, and they don't even realize that they're his family, you begin to understand the bigger picture. Taichiro and his family are miserable in the real world. They're overworked, overstressed, tired, overwhelmed by societal expectations, and they see the world for how draining and ugly it really is. Why would they want to leave their online paradise? They can literally do whatever they want in that realm. Go on adventures, fight for rare loot, create a loving home with a spectacular garden. Why leave this world if reality is just disgusting and disappointing? This is a sentiment I think a lot of people share and can easily relate to, but you're also curious to see what happens if they ever do discover who their online family really are. Can this digital world fix their problems at home or make things worse? You just can't help but watch more to find out. Looking back on my notes for every show I watch, I tend to keep things brief with how I feel about what I just watched. For this show, I had 2 words. Tonal dissonance. Basically, Mononogatari is trying to portray itself as another action-packed supernatural series with a band of random yet memorable characters, but I can't shake off how they're treating our main character, Hyoma. He's a gifted fighter who was traumatized after seeing his own brother and sister brutally murdered by a deadly spirit, and he vowed to exterminate every single monstrous soul out of spite and vengeance. His grandfather is concerned about him using non-peaceful methods to get the job done, but treats his behavior kind of like, I know you hate spirits and treat them more like threats after what happened to your poor siblings, but you seriously need to get over it already and be peaceful like the rest of us. Seriously, take a chill pill. Then he just throws Hyoma into a group that's going to show him how to really exterminate these spirits. Dude, way to downgrade his trauma like that. Obviously, Hyoma needs therapy. He doesn't need to be talked down to like he's the problem and needs to get over his past. Yeah, nah, this show, it just gave me bad vibes. Like, I hate it. Okay, so, disclaimer. I have to clarify something in order to justify the placing of this show. But, spoiler warnings. Oshi No Ko, everyone!
What? What the f?
Okay, so, this happened. In context, we do understand why she does this without caring about Aqua being her brother, but thankfully, he puts a stop to it. Incest is not wincest today, Ruby. Stop it. Get some help! And honestly, I just hate how this one panel is detracting people from watching or reading Oshi No Ko. This is a modern message on what Perfect Blue was trying to warn us about, but with a bigger megaphone screaming,
Yeah, this is still a major problem. A very big problem. All these years, nothing's changed. Just saying.
The story of a doctor and his patient being reborn as their favorite idol's twin babies was supposed to be a weird and gimmicky escapism anime. What we didn't expect, however, was a murder mystery diving us deeper into the problematic world of entertainment. Aqua and Ruby start off in their past lives simply admiring their favorite idol, Ai. Then they're her children, rooting for her behind the scenes, acknowledging all the hard work she has to do. But then they take a gut-wrenching twist of cruelty soon after she's brutally murdered by an obsessive fan. This is a journey for 2 fans fully understanding how complicated, political, and messed up the entertainment industry really is. With how possessive fans can be towards celebrities, how easily your careers could end if you upset the right people while walking on eggshells, and with how relentlessly cruel social media can be towards anyone who gets famous, Oshi No Ko breaks the glamorous illusion the entertainment industry wants to sell. And I know it's an old message that shouldn't be repeated over and over again, but sadly, this is a story that will not go away anytime soon. If there's a certain genre I hate the most, it's the one I like to call There's a School for That. There's rarely an anime under that category that impresses me, unless it's Food Wars. I have my reasons, but this one may actually take the cake as the worst of the worst. Do you want to be like Kizuna Ai? There's a freaking school for that! Yippee! Like, that's it! Kizuna Ai disappears, but her #1 fan wants to be just like her, a VTuber, and goes to school to meet other VTubers. Of all the ideas to give Kizuna Ai, you give her a lazy There's a School for That anime. This hurts. It's also ridiculously boring, so there's that too. What more do you want me to say? It's a boring, let's go to VTuber school anime. That's it. Hey, did you ever wonder if the creator of Astro Boy ever met up with the creator of Monster and they collaborated? I'm not kidding. Pluto is a murder mystery thriller, starting off with a robot detective trying to solve the case of a murdered robot activist. Robot. It makes sense. The detective robot realizes that the murderer is after the remaining retired war robots trying to coexist in society, and their deaths could bring irreversible despair. So he teams up with a super advanced android that just so happens to look like a little boy. This is basically if Astro Boy was a murder mystery thriller with the same psychological themes and logics demonstrated in Monster. I never knew I needed this in my life, but here it is, and I'm grateful for it. It's an interesting show full of mystery, but also packs a punch with its deep themes and ideology. The themes of independence, equality, war, peace, moral ambiguities are all here for us to think about, while also giving us an entertaining murder mystery thriller. Definitely check this out. I don't remember this one. And I watched it like twice. I still can't remember what happened. What did I watch? There's the apocalypse that caused some people to live just above the atmosphere. Weird alien creatures that our main character just hunts down. A girl appears on a hot air balloon. No, in some ways I'm getting some Mad Max vibes if it was done wrong and very boring. Yeah, as I was making this list with Tiffany and Laura, Tiffany couldn't stop talking about how bad this one was. And all I could say was, oh yeah, that one. What was it about again? Say what you want about this adaptation, but Scott Pilgrim Takes Off was an impressive anime. And yes, it's an anime. It counts. If you ever saw Scott Pilgrim vs. the World or ever read the comics, this series starts off similarly to the main story, but takes an alternative twist by... Yeah, Scott dies. Which is what everyone who only watched the first episode thought. Actually, Scott was taken away and assumed dead, so it's up to Ramona to find him while figuring out why this is all happening. In all honesty, I love this adaptation just for what they did with these characters. They were all memorable in the film, but we never saw them grow or shine like they did in the comics. That is until we got to this anime. Every character, okay, maybe aside from the twins, get their own time on the spotlight to shine, grow, and surprise us in some ways. It still has the Scott Pilgrim vibe and humor we all know and love, so if you want a hilarious and action-packed mystery, or if you're a massive Scott Pilgrim fan, you will not be disappointed. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, it's just a sweet anime. We all love it, don't we? The one about the Yakuza members looking after their boss's daughter. It's wholesome, it's sweet. But you know what could make it even better? Giving it an ending like Usagi Drop. And by that, I mean that is the worst idea you could ever do. A girl and her guard dog is exactly what you think it is. It literally is the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting with Usagi Drop. The daughter of a Yakuza leader moves in with her father and is constantly watched over by one of his best members, who is significantly older than her. When she gets older, she chooses to go to a faraway school in order to have a normal life, but her personal guard follows her and pretends to be a student. Seriously, he's practically older than all the other classmates, but I guess they don't care. And yeah, she has a massive crush on him, despite her tsundere nature, and overlooking the fact that he's known her ever since she was in primary school. This is just uncomfortable. Inukai's dog gave me the ick. Nah. The ick trophy goes to this one. Okay, I'll admit, my choices for 10 to 4 were not easy for me to decide in place, but I knew overall which anime would make it into the top 3. Like, there was no question with these 3. There was no competition. These are the best that 2023 had to offer, in my opinion. And even though we went back and forth over which one would get this spot in particular, we ultimately decided to give it to the recent anime that is stealing everyone's heart, the Apothecary Diaries. The adopted daughter of a poor doctor named Mao Mao gets kidnapped and sold to her country's empire. Since she appears to be too average looking and maybe ugly to some people, she finds a comfortable job as a chambermaid doing simple chores. That is until the emperor's concubines and babies become gravely ill for some reason. So now Mao Mao has to decide whether or not to step up and help with her apothecary skills or remain silent and undetectable in order to protect herself. The overall story of Apothecary Diaries centers around a woman's place in society within this particular era. The emperor can have anyone he wants and makes it well known that if he wants something, he'll have it. But if you can't give him what he wants, he'll toss you aside. Mao Mao knows her place as a poor peasant girl and doesn't want to be used by anyone, so she tries to stay out of trouble while indulging in her hobbies in apothecary and poisons. She loves testing poisons on herself. Well, ain't she quirky? Look, I won't deny though that everything about this anime is ridiculously interesting. The world building, the story, the characters and their chemistry with each other, just everything is presented incredibly well. And yes, the chemistry between Mao Mao and Jinshi is everything. I freaking love watching these two interact with each other. They are just so wholesome and precious. Oh, what more can I say? The Apothecary Diaries is highly praised for damned good reasons and earned its reputation as one of the best anime of 2023. This could have been number one. It was actually number one for a little while. I don't know if you can tell why it would have been number one. Look at it. Just look at it. Look at it. I want all of you to look at it. Kamierabi is embarrassing. And not just because of the animation. It definitely doesn't help it though. If you're getting sick of how many freaking isekais there are, I'm sure you're even more sick of the ever so repetitive, never-ending category known as I'm fighting to be God Battle Royale bullshit. Hey, have you seen Mirai Nikki? Just watch that one again, don't waste your time with this one. And even if you don't mind all these Battle Royale copy and paste shows, the animation is a massive crutch to Kamierabi. It's a basic, boring story accompanied by some of the worst animation to curse us all in 2023. What was even the point in making this? Some may argue this spot should go to Apothecary Diaries, but hear me out. If you didn't see my review, My Happy Marriage is all about recovering from trauma induced by societal expectations and childhood abuse. Mio was born into a prestigious family only to be mistreated relentlessly by her own parents and sister because she wasn't born with any special abilities. Despite wanting to marry her childhood friend in order to escape her family, he ended up being engaged to her sister while she gets arranged to a man rumored to be foul and abusive, Kyoko Kudo. Turns out, however, Kudo is actually a decent guy who only acts aggressive towards people who use or manipulate him. While this may seem to be a typical B-shoujo where the victim to main character ends up getting sweet karma thrown back at her family, My Happy Marriage is a lot more. It's not enough for Mio to finally get the best treatment she's been deprived of for many years. Due to all the trauma and relentless bullying she's endured, the biggest obstacle Mio honestly has to overcome is her self-worth. Even though we're happy to see Mio with Kudo, she has to convince herself that it's okay to be happy. It's okay to want a partner who will love you for who you are. It's okay to love yourself and want a better life. Mio, it's okay. Kudo loves you, your friends love you, your real family loves you. You need to love you. It's a powerful message a lot of people need to hear, a feels-good anime with a strong message for all of us to hear. And to me, it's earned its spot as the second best anime of 2023. Before we continue, we've got a few more titles to talk about for good and bad reasons. Let's quickly go over the honorable and dishonorable mentions. First up, dishonorable mentions. The girl I like forgot her glasses. How can they put in so much effort into a boring show with one joke? The girl you like is completely blind without her glasses, call her Velma for that, and she needs to lean on you for help. That's it. Ice Blade Sorcerer, another OP fantasy escapism anime that's a struggle to get through. Everyone mistreats the main character like he's noob trash without realizing that he's the legendary hero that disappeared a while ago. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Run for Money! Another rags to riches story that's extremely predictable. Not that interesting whatsoever. One Shot Kills Sister, an isekai where the main character brings his older sister, and she's not only OP, but overly protective of her brother. It also gives me the ick. Aristocrat Isekai! Just a boring, OP escapism isekai. And I'm actually having a hard time remembering this one too. Like, all these isekais just come out the same, don't you think? Reborn to Master the Blade! A powerful king asked to be reborn to master the blade and have all of his memories intact, but what he didn't expect was to be reborn as a girl. That's it. It's very boring and bland. Oku! Okay, call me crazy, but this feels like a bunch of writers liked the idea of worlds in harem, but didn't like the harem-like presentation, so they made a different version that's darker and more serious. Okay then, good for you. And finally, okay, look, I know I said original shows only, and this is technically a sequel, but Tiffany begged me to mention it, because she thinks this is actually the worst anime of 2023. I haven't seen it. I don't know what else to say, just Tiffany hates it with all the godlike rages that she can manifest in her tiny little body. You're welcome, Tiffany. As for honorable mentions, we have Working for God in a Godless Country. A dude gets isekai to a godless world, but that's okay, he brought his own god. And she's a lolly. This is hilarious. 16-Bit Sensation, a love letter to classic light novel games that put time and effort into everything they did. I mean, they're called classics for a reason, and they don't make them like they used to, as I slap my old man knee. My Home Hero, a couple finds out their daughter is getting abused by a Yakuza member, and they accidentally took action. All I can say is, couple's goal. Yuzuki Family, the most precious family of brothers you'll ever find. It's just so wholesome. I love them all. Tear Moon Empire. If Marie Antoinette went back in time after she got executed, with all of her memories intact, and she tries to correct her mistakes before she gets killed again. It's actually pretty interesting. Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, the best Bishoujo girl boss fantasy with the prettiest fairy boy ever. I made a review of it, go watch it. Endo and Kobayashi live. Instead of being sucked into an Otome game, like every other Otome game anime out there, these two are live commentators affecting the gameplay with their narrations. I love it. Heavenly Delusion. Okay, who'd have thunk Disney Plus would have a dark yet interesting apocalyptic anime on their platform? Thanks, Mickey. Skip to Loafers. Hey, you want a feels-good, happy-go-lucky school life anime? Here you go. Dark Gathering. If I had a category for best horror or mystery, it'd probably go to this one. It's a cute enough idea, but surprisingly dark and eerie. Definitely check it out. Shangri-La Frontier, one of the top tier gaming anime of the year. It puts a masochistic gamer indulging himself in crappy made VR games and giving him a game that's actually good. Treat yourself, Gamer King, treat yourself. 100 Girlfriends! I don't hate it! It's a ridiculous scenario, but it's made for comedy, and the main character is actually a sweetheart, so he sold it to me. S-Ranked Daughter, an OP female fighter keeps getting roped into one quest after another when all she wants to do is take a vacation and see her dad again. It's so wholesome. Forbidden Deduction, another supernatural crime mystery anime, but I love Ron. He makes a show, and I love him. Migi and Dolly, a set of twins are doing everything they can to solve a mystery, but why are they creepy? Zom 100! It died down a bit due to its weird release schedule, but the beginning was solid. The only time this guy gets a break from work is when the apocalypse happens. I love it. And finally, Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence. They did it. They made a wholesome escapism anime involving a cutesy waifu nun. Y'all have found Jesus. Me? Yeah. I'm talking about a pro-Catholic Church anime with a nun waifu. How do you think I am? You ever read one of those Reddit stories where the author tries to be the good guy, but it's unanimously decided that everyone in the story just sucks? That's the Kingdoms of Ruin. I'm not even kidding. In the beginning, God blessed the earth with witches, blessing humanity with their gifts that were supposed to benefit and protect everyone. That is until humans discovered science and decided that they didn't need witches anymore, so the Emperor decrees to force witches into an early retirement in a far-off land where they can all live in peace and harmony for the remainder of their lives. I'm kidding. The Emperor orders the complete extinction of every witch in the most brutal and humiliating way possible. Our hero, Adonis, wants to eliminate all humans in the same way since his beloved witch teacher Chloe died horrifically in front of him. So he starts to go on a bloody rampage, killing everyone in sight with his magic. Okay, so this is similar to Redo of Healer, right? You know, where everyone in charge are just horrible, horrible people, and we're just watching sweet karma deliver back to them, right? Not really. Because the witches are not that innocent either, since they want to revive all their strongest witches in order to enslave humanity? I'm sorry, but how am I supposed to feel here? And it turns out the Emperor was being controlled by a love witch who used her power to make the Empire kill all witches just so she can rule without anyone getting in her way. And I'm sorry, what even is this?
How far are you willing to take your vengeance? It'll be a never-ending war if this keeps going on.
Sweetheart, are you even paying attention to everything that's happening around you? You are surrounded by self-centered assholes wanting to use and manipulate everyone around you for their own benefits. But you're just gonna sit there and cry out that everyone should just get along in peace and harmony, holding hands while singing Kumbaya? Fuck off! This whole show makes zero sense. Did anyone read the manga? If so, is the anime following the story accurately, or are we missing something here? And even if it is accurate, how did this get an anime? Everyone is horrible! Adonis is horrible! The humans are horrible! And the witches are horrible! What's the point if everything that happens in the show makes you question why everything and everyone is horrible? Everyone sucks here! And I want 12 episodes of my life back, please! So yeah, The Kingdoms of Ruin. It takes the crown as the worst anime of 2023. Hey, remember when I said that our choices for the top 3 best anime of 2023 were obvious because they were without a doubt the best of the year? Well, our number 1 choice was overwhelmingly obvious. Like, in all seriousness, this anime was in a league of its own. Frieren, Beyond the Journey's End. There wasn't a doubt in my mind after I watched the first episode, but each episode afterwards just kept confirming to me over and over again that this was it. This was the best. The story centers around Frieren, an elf mage living her life, seeking rare spells soon after her quest with her friends end. She casually makes plans to meet up with them for the next meteor shower like it's no big deal, but this is planned decades later, when 2 of her human friends are old and frail. Soon after this event, the leader of her group, Himmel, dies tragically of old age, causing Frieren to look back on their adventures, wondering if she was ever a good friend to him at all. Everything that seemed special to Himmel was deemed trivial to her, but why? From here on, Frieren finds a young apprentice, formerly being raised by another one of her old friends, and embarks on a journey to finally understand the human experience. Okay, let me just say this right here. The one thing that can either make or break a series is pacing. Depending on whatever information you can receive from the story's presentation depends on the pacing. You can't really take in anything if the story is too fast. But the thing is, the fast pacing in Frieren is astonishingly a benefit. Like, fast pacing never works, but it works for Frieren. She's an elf. She lives centuries longer than most other people in the world. She doesn't have the same grasp of time compared to everyone else. A decade to her is nothing more than a short bit of time, but it's a good chunk of time to everyone else. 1 minute she's with her friends as they go on an epic quest, the next, 2 of them are dead from old age. And here she is again, on another adventure with her brand new apprentice, anticipating the days she'll eventually grow old as well. Frieren as a whole is a celebration. to appreciate the days we have with our friends and loved ones while doing what we can to make long-lasting memories. Frieren doesn't seem to understand or appreciate any of those sentiments until it's too late, but she's willing to go on a quest to truly understand why the simplest and trivial things in life can have more meaning to us than we could ever comprehend. It's a beautiful story full of life, friendship, and appreciation. It's a sweet story that even got me all teary-eyed by the 3rd episode with Himmel's flowers on the statue. You know that one, that's an iconic moment. I cried for that one. So yeah, this was a definite winner for me. With all of that said, I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt that Frieren Beyond the Journey's End is definitely the best anime of 2023.
My job is weird, dude.
And there you have it, our choices for the best and worst anime of 2023. Do you agree with our choices? What do you think was the best and worst anime of 2023? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know what you think of our new format for the Anime Awards. Special thanks to Tiffany and Laura for helping me make this list. Your input helps a lot, as usual. And of course, Mikey, thank you for helping me with that song. Go follow him, Shalani Insane, he's awesome. I also want to thank our Patreon supporters for keeping this channel alive and thriving. It's not easy nowadays to make videos, but I can still create the content that I want thanks to your amazing support and generosity. And of course, thank you to everyone for watching this video. More awesome videos will be on the way, so stay tuned to Anime America.